Welcome back to Missin Curfew. Updogg, Canucks, we just talked about them.
Yep.
I had to bring in our boy. I had to bring in Murph. I texted him last night after the game. I said, fella, can you give us 15 minutes on Missin Curfew?
Right from ground zero. Right from Vancouver itself. Yep.
Murph, thanks for joining us, buddy.
Hey, thanks for having me on. It's always fun.
Listen, Murph, obviously not the start the Canucks wanted, right? We just talked about them on our rundown, and we did our NHL segment thing. And listen, you know, you've been doing the media for a long time in Vancouver, and there's nobody classier than you. The players respect you more than anything. You were great to me in my time. Is the media helping right now, you think? Like, I know it's Van City, and I was lucky we were good there, but I see the stuff coming out of there, and I'm like, everyone just relax and kind of breathe, and I don't know if it's helping right now kind of thing.
Well, it's probably not helping. And, you know, it's probably not just focused solely on this season, right? It's kind of an accumulation of things. And, you know, and it's probably not on this management group. It probably goes back to the last management group. And I think mainly, you know, when you're losing in this market, it's not easy, right? It's the only real big team. Yes, there's a CFL team. Yes, there's a MLS team, but really this is a one-team town. So when things aren't going well, it's everywhere. And, you know, I think the media is generally fair.
Yeah, no, I agree.
In this market, but they don't let you get away with anything, and they'll call it the way it is. And we try to even do that on our own broadcast without being mean-spirited. You back things up with facts. So I think it's the fact that last year they had such a poor start, right? I think they won 8 of their first 25 games. They brought in Bruce. They had such a positive finish to the season. And then in the offseason, they kind of went against what they said they were going to do. They wanted to get younger, add more picks, get some cap space, and get some defensemen. But instead, they went and got Kuzmenko, which is fine. Everybody wanted him. Signed Mikheyev, and then re-up JT Miller, which didn't address the defense, didn't get cap space. And then they came into the season saying, okay, we're going to kind of go for it here, and let's get a playoff run. And then to fall on their face out of the gate like this. So I think it's a combination of things, but you're right. It can be a super tough market if you're not one of those people that can put your phone down or not watch TV or not read. If you can do all of that, you're going to be okay.
Yeah, and just let me jump in. And you're right, Murph. And the media is fair there. And I was lucky, you know, we were good. I had the CDs and Bobby Lou doing their thing, but they're always firm and fair. I just think right now, would it almost be better for the media to kind of rally around the team? All right, listen, they're struggling. I get it. You know, for the next couple weeks here, let's kind of bring them up and help them out. I don't know if that's going to help or not, but just the stuff I'm seeing coming out there, I'm like, listen, they got injuries. We all know about the blown leads. Like, I guess I'm asking for more positivity out of the media in this situation. I don't know if I'm going to get it, but as a former Canuck, I'm looking for it.
Yeah, I mean, I think you have to mention the injuries, right? The back end is devastated right now without Hughes, without Poolman, without Dermott. Now Riley Stillman's out. I mean, you've got a back end that was going to be kind of the weak part of the team going into the season already, and then you're dealing with that. The difficult thing is you come back from that 5-game road trip. If you just won the games you led after 2, you finished that 1-3-1-1, I think.
Yeah.
And then you come back home, but you lose all 5. You come into your home opener. You lay an egg in the third period, and people are throwing jerseys on the ice.
Yeah.
Well, in the media, you kind of have to ask about that after the game, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
No. So, but now, you know, I think I sensed a bit of a shift last night with the players, because after that home opener, it felt like it was Game 7 of a playoff series. That's how down everyone was in that room, the players, right? And as you would be. I mean, it's super difficult circumstances. Your first game of the season, you're getting booed off the ice, and jerseys are being thrown. But I sensed last night, you know, it was a little bit lighter. The players, you know, JT had a better message. Like, I guess you got to scout your own way a bit, and it's tough not to talk about a 7-game losing streak to start the season. But I sense the players' message was a lot better across the board last night, and that certainly is going to help, you know, move a different narrative forward, as long as you're not teeing off and sounding negative yourself.
Yeah, and when it comes to, you know, the fans throwing the jerseys on the ice, listen, I think he was probably throwing it over the beer prices more than anything, right? He probably had 10 beers. They lost the game. He's like, I'm throwing this jersey on here. But the fans pay their hard-earned money. If they want to throw their jersey on and boo, they have every right, Murph. The Vancouver Canucks fans are the best fans in the league. They expect high things. They deserve high things. So I got no problem with them tossing jerseys on the ice. From the media perspective, I've hoped a little positivity. But for the fans, hey, man, if they want to boo, they have every right.
Yeah. And we've all been, I've been part of starting the season off on a shitty note. Like in Philly, you know, we brought in all these guys, you know, right? And I've said this over and over, but Hartnell, Tiemann, and Lupul, fucking Jason Smith, you know, Marty Baron, and we lose, I think, 8 out of the first 10 games. And then we all go out and get drunk in San Jose. And Mike Richards, Richie's the drunkest one by far. He's our captain. He's a young leader at the time. And he was like, guys, this is unacceptable, like blah, blah, blah. And he started kind of ripping a few guys like we do. Like you see kind of JT Miller and Luke Shen kind of go back and forth. It's all stuff that fucking brothers are part of. And the only way to get out of it, though, is to team up with a message, with a narrative, like you just said, and kind of be like, stand for yourselves. Like, be like, fuck, you know what? Yes, our fans are upset, whatever. But fuck, we got a game fucking in Seattle. It's a home game away from home. And quite frankly, I think we can beat that team and then just kind of trust it. But he's squeezing the sticks and, pointing blame everywhere, Murph. You know what it's like. But it feels like now they're in a spot where everyone's holding up a fucking shield and reflecting like the blame, and then where does the blame fall? Where does the blame fall? It's just go win a hockey game.
Yeah. And the one thing I will say, Obie, with the media, like the stuff that I don't get into is when you hear about locker room politics or locker room drama. Like when a team loses 5, 6, 7 in a row to start the season, of course guys are going to be pissed off at each other.
Yeah.
Of course there's going to be hard conversations. Of course, if there was friction before that, it's going to get worse. But that's the kind of stuff that I don't report on or like to get asked about. I'm like, it doesn't matter. You can have guys hate each other on a team and the team be super successful.
Yeah.
When things aren't going well, you got to figure out a way to pull together. And like we saw it last year, like they had a great second half. The problem is that I didn't think it was possible to have a worse start than last year. And they're on their way to doing that. And you know how tough it is then. You're settling in at the end of October saying there's almost no chance to make the playoffs and you're 3 weeks into the season. So it just compounds. It compounds from ownership to management to players to media to fans. And everybody has a tough time, finding something positive to do. They have to drag one game across the finish line.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Just one. Breathe a little bit. I'm not going to say if they beat Seattle, they're going to beat Pittsburgh the next night, but I think they're going to find themselves to be able to relax a little bit more once it does happen ultimately.
Yeah, and you're right, Murph. And I guess when I'm talking about the media, I'm not putting everyone. I'm putting the guys on social media that maybe they know who they are out there. The guys that have just come in and maybe are making the names for themselves and they got a job to do. And I get all that, but for the most part, the guys that have been around a long time have the right outlook for the team. But for Bo Horvat, I know he's going through a contract extension. I don't know what's going on there. You know better than me. I joked with Upshaw that in Minneapolis, they needed a team dinner out. They need to go out and open up some red wine and have a team dinner and whatever. What kind of leadership's in there? Not just Bo. Like, you're around the team a little bit. Do they have guys in there that can say, hey, boys, we need one win. That's all we need is one win.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure they do. But they have different types of leaders. I mean, Bo is kind of, I think, more under the Sedin umbrella, right? Far more quiet leadership. He's there to speak he always says the right thing, never too hot under the collar, right? Like the room opens up in 10 minutes. He's composed himself, knows what to say. You got JT Miller's far more vocal, far more emotional, right? In that sense, I think he has the locker room by the neck sometimes, right? He's the kind of guy that fires them up. And then you have some of the other guys that have been around for a little while too, the OELs, Tyler Myers, guys are pretty even keel. I don't know what the problem is. I don't think it's a leadership thing. I think they've got a lot of good players, but there's not a good team yet. And I don't know why the mix hasn't quite worked, but it hasn't worked here now for a couple of years in a row with a few other pieces thrown in there, here and there. So I'm not exactly sure why, but I don't think that if this continues, they can run it back again next year with the same kind of mix. I don't think there's an easy answer.
Yeah.
But I think you kind of have to find a way to freshen it up without just like moving one guy and bringing one new guy in. I think that hard questions have to be asked. And, I don't know who said it the other day, but I kind of agree with it. Sometimes it's better to make a bad trade than sign a bad contract. And that might be something that has to happen at this point in time. And I'm not saying Bo Horvat be a bad contract. I think that he was fully in line for an extension. I think probably he was supposed to get done before JT. And now I'm not sure exactly why it happened in that fashion. So I haven't had any discussions really on this line, but I got to believe that Horvat's, he's not going to let it affect him, but I got to believe he's probably not all that happy that he wasn't taken care of in the offseason too. So there's all these little things that if the team wasn't winning, we wouldn't even be talking about.
Yeah, for
but
sure.
Since the team is losing, all this stuff bubbles to the surface.
Yeah, absolutely. And I will say this, I don't know JT Miller at all. But he's the least of the problems.
You like him.
I love him. He's the least of the worries. He's the way he played last night against Carolina, 2 goals. The hit he had at the end of the period, end of the third, where they're trying to. He plays hard every night. what he said about the jersey being thrown on, you could tell he was pissed off after a game. But I love JT Miller, man. I would take that
was
guy.
2 days after.
Was it 2 days after? Oh shit! All right. Well, he's on his own there, Murph. Fuck, I was trying to help. I was trying to help him out, but
no, but someone was agging him on in the fucking post game for sure. Someone was like, probably
was it forehand? Was it forehand, Lousy? I know it was forehand.
No,
I'm blaming
like,
forehand.
He just wouldn't have came out and said that 2 days later. Someone had to like poke the bear in the room, probably.
I think because I just left the scrum. I was there after the game, and someone asked him about it, and he said, "I don't have a reaction to that." And so I had just left the scrum to go talk to I don't even know who yesterday. And the question was asked, "Do you have a reaction now?" And he goes, "No, I didn't have one then. I don't now." And then he gave the comment, "I don't give a shit at whatever they throw on the ice." But then that's the quote you see.
Yeah, I know.
Then you followed that up with something like, "For me, I just have to focus on trying to win a hockey game for this team."
Yeah.
So. Yes, he said that. And then post-game, I don't know if somebody in Canucks management talked to him because post-game he was a lot more positive. But you always see the negative part of the soundbite. But he did follow it up by saying,
exactly.
I can't worry about that right now. We're 0-6, and I got to worry about winning hockey.
No, and you got to be careful in Vancouver. Murph helped. So I got back skated through the ice. Guys came in, microphone in my face. I popped off. Murph texted me after. He's like, "Hey, I just want to let you know they're going to run with this, Obes. Like, this is going to be, you said some stuff that I'm like, they're going to run with it." He's like, "Yeah, they're going to run with it. So just to give you a heads up." And I was like, sure enough, fucking next day, boom, front page. I'm like, shit.
That's all right.
So
no press is bad press for you.
I needed the press. Murph, but JT Miller doesn't need it. But last thing on this year's team, and thanks for taking the time, buddy. I know you're busy. Bruce Boudreau, our boy Travis Green lost his job last year because of the start. Again with the start this year. I had him as a playoff team, Murph. Like, what's going on with Bruce? I love him as a guy, but what's your concern? Is there concern? I guess
I had them even money to make playoffs. I didn't see it starting this way. I wasn't sure what Vegas or LA would look like in that division. Bruce didn't forget how to coach.
Yeah.
I mean, his regular season record is, I think it's second or third best winning percentage ever in the regular season. He hasn't forgotten how to coach. I don't think his message has gone stale. I think that, they've been in every game basically. I know they got bullied last night by a very good Canes team. I don't know what the shots finished, 39-15. That was a one-sided game, but they were still in. But the rest of them, they had a chance to win all of them. So I don't think it's Bruce, and I'm not buying the fact. I could be totally wrong. I mean, if they lose two more, he could be gone. I don't know, but I don't know if this ownership group at this time wants to pay Travis still, wants to play Bruce still, and wants to bring someone in new. Now, maybe it just turns out to be Mike Yeo or Trent Cole. They just named one of the assistants that have that. How many times does that happen to Mike Yeo?
I was just going to say, if that happens to him, he's his new team. He's interim coach. He'll be
time. I mean, 3 times. Fucking St. Louis and Philly, and
it's funny you say that. It's funny you say that. I'm watching the game last night, and they got the camera on Bruce a lot, right? And I see Yeo there, and I know you played for him. And I'm sure he's a good guy, but I'm like, this guy got another job, huh?
Yeah,
he got another job just like that. Like, not even, hey, Yosi, take a year off and just let him marinate. Boom, hired again.
I like Yosi, but I don't think that's the short-term answer to it all, right? It's like you just said, Bruce knows how to coach. And he doesn't need to change how he's coaching. They just need to find a way to fucking win the game.
Yeah, and Murph, you're bang on. Like, listen, that Carolina Hurricanes team, I picked to win the President's Trophy. Other than that, they've been in every game, like you said. So, Murph, on some lighter news, thanks for taking the time to answer those tough questions. I appreciate it. But from my former squads, the Sedins are going in and Bobby Lou to the Hall of Fame. Do you have any plan on going to Toronto or anything? Or what's your plan on that?
The problem is we will be there that weekend. The Canucks play the Leafs that Saturday night because the Hall of Fame game is on the Sunday or the Monday. Sunday, whatever. Yeah. But the Canucks play in Boston the next day, so we're out of town.
Okay.
So I see the Twins all the time. Hopefully I can say hi to Bobby Lou. Bieksa will be there for hockey night. And then actually Kevin is going to be in Vancouver next week because they're having him, he's retiring a Canuck.
Yeah.
You signed the one day.
Yeah, you teed me up for my last point on the congrats to Kevin Bieksa for signing a one-day contract. His beautiful wife, Katie, reached out to me about a video. So I got a little video out there that has a few chirps and juice. Are you going to chirp him a bit, Murph? Are you going to take the high road or what's going on? Because he let the Sedins have it pretty good. He did unbelievable in their speech. Someone's got to give it to Juice a little bit.
I will, but the thing you got to be careful with Kevin. You got to be sharp. Right?
I know.
Because he'll come right back. So you have to have the gun loaded, otherwise that could turn on you. Pretty quick.
He's got a pretty big platform now. He can hit you right where it stings.
Yeah, that's true.
I'll tell you a quick one just before we go. In the playoffs last year, in the bubble playoffs, Ferland left the bubble. So with our with our schedules, you worked one day, you reported one day, and you had one day off. So you hosted, reported day off. So on my reporting day, I was done at 5:00. Meet up with Ryan and Leslie. We're about 10 in each, right? It's like 8 at night. And I got a message from work saying, you got to go and do a stand-up on Michael Furlan leaving the bubble. I was like, guys, I've had like 3 or 4. And they said, we don't care. Go do it. So whatever. I went and did it, shot it. So I texted Kevin because it ran live on Hockey Night. And I said, how did the stand-up look? He goes, good. I said, okay, solid, because I had like, I don't know, 8 or 9. And so the next day I'm getting ready for my live hit into Hockey Night, the intermission. And I'm just standing there. It's in the intermission of the game. And I hear Ron McLean. Hey, Ron, Murph, it's Ron. Can you hear me? Yeah, Ron, I got you. Okay, we're up in about 5 minutes. Okay, that sounds good. Hey, Murph, are you drunk? BX ratted me out.
Yeah.
That's
I know.
not right.
Listen,
That's not
I know,
right.
buddy.
Supposed to be a team guy.
Hey, he kicked me out as his roommate too, by the way. So just, you never know with Juice. You never know. But Murph, you're the best, buddy. I appreciate you taking the time. Keep doing what you're doing on Sportsnet, buddy. You're a legend. I appreciate you taking the time, my man.
Thanks for having me on, fellas. We'll see you down south when we get down there.
Thank you,
brother.
pal.
Updogg, thanks to Murph. I texted him last night after watching the game. I said, hey, listen, if you got 15, 20 minutes for the boys tomorrow, I'm missing curfew. Me and Uppy would love to talk to you. Guy's a legend. When I'm talking about Vancouver media, I'm definitely not talking about him.
No, he's well respected.
I will say this to the young media people in Vancouver. Look at fucking Dan Murphy. If you want to be respected and you want to get up, work your way up the ranks and get to where Murph is, treat players and people like Murph does, and you'll get up there because the guy's a class act. He calls it how he sees it, which is part of your job, but every player respects Murph. So thanks for coming on. I do think the Canucks are going to be fine up. They need a win.
Yeah, you're pulling for them.
I'm
so am I.
I'm pulling.
So am I. They're a good Canadian team, but like Murph said, they are a one-team city. Just take it easy on the guys, all right?
Yeah,
and take it easy on the guys.
And I don't know if there's any single guys on that team, but if there is, get in the fucking shooting lane because when you start winning there,
totally.
It is worth the bruises and it's worth the
I
ice
hear
packs.
Loose pucks and ice bags.
There's no better city in the world than Van City when you're winning hockey games.
I know. I wish I almost made that squad.
Oh, man. No one would even known with me if you would have played in Vancouver. You would have taken him out. The Shane O'Brien story would have pushed aside if the Updogg would have played there. So, thanks to Murph. Check out our Monday
edition.
Our Monday edition is coming out. Raw
yeah.
Knuckles. It will be Chris Knuckles Nyland, Tim Stapleton. Monday morning coming out. Updogg, thanks, fella. Love being in the studio with you. Sick jacket.
Thank you, fella.
Sick jacket.
Yeah.
Banger, Maxi Hall Pass. That was Missing Curfew. Fella.